So there's been a lot of talk lately, a lot of headlines about AI. You've seen it everywhere. It feels like every couple of weeks there's some new groundbreaking tool that changes the conversation completely. And a big part of that conversation is about jobs. How is this wave of artificial intelligence going to change the way we work? Is it coming for our jobs? The short answer is, it's complicated. It's not this simple overnight robot apocalypse some people imagine, where entire professions just disappear. It's much more nuanced than that. What we're actually seeing is a shift. AI isn't necessarily making entire degrees obsolete, but it's definitely starting to automate specific tasks, and as a result, it's reducing the demand for certain entry-level or repetitive roles within those fields. Think of it less like a tidal wave wiping out the beach, and more like the tide coming in and reshaping the shoreline. Some areas get smaller while new ones are formed. It's a fundamental change in the landscape of the job market, and it's happening faster than a lot of people are ready for. So, that's what this video is about. We're going to break down the top 10 degrees that are being most directly impacted by this AI-driven shift. We'll look at what's changing, why it's changing, and what it might mean for anyone currently studying or considering these fields. This isn't about fear-mongering, it's about being informed and prepared for what's coming. So let's get into it. These are the top 10 degrees that AI is disrupting right now. All right, kicking off our list at number 10 is accounting. For decades, this has been seen as a super stable, reliable career path. You get your degree, you get your CPA, and you're pretty much set. But AI is starting to chip away at the very foundation of what a lot of traditional accounting work entails. I'm talking about the core tasks like bookkeeping, data entry, reconciling accounts, and even preparing standard tax returns. These are fundamentally rules-based, repetitive processes, and that makes them prime targets for automation. You've got incredibly powerful software now, things like QuickBooks Online Advanced or platforms from companies like Pilot that can sync directly with bank accounts, categorize transactions automatically, and generate financial statements with minimal human input. They can flag anomalies and perform in seconds what used to take an accountant hours of manual work. This doesn't mean accountants are going away, but it does mean the role is evolving. The focus is shifting away from just crunching the numbers to interpreting them, providing strategic advice, financial planning, and complex audit oversight. The repetitive stuff is increasingly being handled by the machine. Coming in at number 9 and closely related to accounting is finance. This is another field that's built on data, and where there's massive amounts of data, AI is going to have a massive impact. For a long time, a big part of being a financial analyst was gathering information, plugging it into complex Excel models, and trying to forecast market trends or a company's performance. Now, AI algorithms can ingest and analyze petabytes of financial data, from market prices and trading volumes to news articles and social media sentiment in real time. These systems are becoming incredibly good at identifying patterns and generating predictions that are often more accurate than what a human team could produce. You see this heavily in algorithmic trading, where AI makes buy and sell decisions in fractions of a second. But it's also happening in investment banking and corporate finance, where AI tools are used to automate due diligence, valuation models, and risk assessment. The job is shifting from being the person who builds the model from scratch to being the person who understands how to use these powerful AI tools and can interpret their outputs to make a final strategic call. Okay, number 8 might be a little controversial, but hear me out. Computer science. Now, obviously, AI is a product of computer science, so the field as a whole is exploding. Demand for people who can build, train, and design AI and machine learning systems is at an all-time high. But, and this is a big but, AI is also getting really good at automating certain parts of the computer science workflow, specifically some of the more routine coding and development tasks. We're talking about tools like GitHub Copilot, which can basically act as an autocomplete for programmers on steroids, writing entire functions and blocks of code based on a simple comment. AI is also getting better at debugging, writing unit tests, and even translating code from one language to another. This means that the need for entry-level developers whose main job is to just churn out boilerplate code is likely going to decrease. The value is moving up the stack towards systems architecture, complex problem-solving, cybersecurity, and of course, advanced AI and machine learning development itself. The degree is more valuable than ever, but the nature of the entry-level work is changing fast. Next up at number 7, we have journalism and communications. This one honestly hits on the creation of text, which is one of the areas where generative AI has made some of the most visible progress. For a long time, writing was seen as a uniquely human skill. But now, AI tools can produce surprisingly coherent and well-structured text for a whole range of purposes. They can write news summaries, generate articles based on a set of data points, draft social media posts, and create marketing copy. Companies like the Associated Press have actually been using AI for years to write earnings reports, freeing up their human journalists to work on more in-depth, investigative stories. But now that technology is accessible to everyone, this means that roles focused on high-volume, formulaic content creation are at risk. The demand is shifting towards skills that AI can't easily replicate: deep investigative reporting, building human sources, nuanced opinion and analysis, and crafting a unique authorial voice. It's less about just reporting the what and more about explaining the why and how. At number 6, we're looking at the legal world, specifically degrees in legal studies and paralegal studies. The legal profession is built on a mountain of text: case law, statutes, contracts, discovery documents. A huge part of the job for paralegals and junior associates has historically been sifting through this mountain of information. It's called legal research and document review, and it can be incredibly time-consuming and, frankly, tedious work. This is another area where AI excels. AI-powered legal tech platforms can now analyze thousands of documents in minutes, identifying relevant clauses, flagging potential risks in contracts, and finding precedents for a case far more efficiently than a human ever could. This process, known as e-discovery, is being revolutionized. It means that law firms may need fewer people dedicated solely to these research and review tasks. The value is shifting toward client interaction, legal strategy, courtroom performance, and making the final judgment call on the information that the AI surfaces. Halfway through the list at number 5 is the General Business Administration degree. This one is tricky because it's so broad, but that's also part of the issue. A lot of a general business degree curriculum focuses on foundational principles of management, operations, and data analysis. And many of the routine tasks associated with these areas, like creating performance reports, analyzing sales data, optimizing supply chains, and making day-to-day operational decisions, are becoming heavily automated. AI-powered business intelligence dashboards can now provide managers with real-time insights that used to require a team of analysts to compile. AI can run simulations to predict the outcome of different business strategies or optimize inventory levels automatically. This means that managers who rely solely on executing standard procedures and making decisions based on simple data reports might find their roles shrinking. The focus for future business leaders will be on the human elements: leadership, negotiation, strategic creativity, stakeholder management, and ethical decision-making, things that can't be easily delegated to an algorithm. Coming in at number 4, we have a specific slice of the engineering world: mechanical and industrial engineering, particularly roles that involve repetitive design tasks. For years, the go-to tool for engineers has been CAD, computer-aided design, software. It was a huge leap forward, but the engineer was still very much in the driver's seat, manually drawing and refining every part of a design. Now, we're entering the era of generative design. With generative design, an engineer doesn't draw the part. Instead, they define the problem. They input the parameters, the size constraints, the materials to be used, the forces it needs to withstand. And the AI algorithm generates thousands of potential design solutions, often with organic, non-intuitive shapes that a human would never think of, all optimized for performance and weight. This automates a huge chunk of the routine design and optimization process. The engineer's role becomes that of a creative director, choosing the best AI-generated option and refining the high-level constraints, rather than being a digital drafter. In our top 3, at number 3, is education. This might seem surprising as teaching feels so fundamentally human. And the core of it, mentorship, inspiration, and emotional support, absolutely is. But a large part of the modern education system is about content delivery and assessment. And this is where AI is making huge inroads. Think about the classic lecture format, where one teacher delivers the same information to 30 or even 300 students at the same pace. AI-powered adaptive learning platforms can completely personalize that experience. They can present information to students, ask questions, and then adjust the difficulty and content in real time based on the student's answers. If a student is struggling with a concept, the AI can provide extra resources and practice problems. It can also automate the grading of assignments and quizzes, freeing up immense amounts of teacher time. This could reduce the need for roles focused purely on delivering standardized content and grading, while elevating the role of the teacher to that of a facilitator, mentor, and learning coach who handles the complex individual needs of students. Our runner-up, at number 2, is library and information science. The traditional role of a librarian has been to be the human search engine for a physical collection of information. They are experts at cataloging, organizing, and retrieving information so that others can find it. But the way we access information has fundamentally changed. We no longer go to a physical building to browse a card catalog. We type a query into a search bar. AI is taking this to the next level. Modern AI systems and large language models are essentially information retrieval and summarization engines on an unprecedented scale. They can instantly categorize vast digital libraries, understand natural language queries, and provide direct summarized answers to complex questions, complete with sources. This directly automates the core historical function of information retrieval. The future role for information scientists will likely be more focused on data curation, teaching digital and AI literacy, ensuring ethical information access, and managing the very systems that are automating their traditional tasks. And finally, at number 1, the degree field we're seeing some of the most dramatic and immediate disruption in is graphic design, especially at the entry level. For years, if you needed a logo, a website layout, a social media graphic, or a simple illustration, you hired a graphic designer. It required a specific skill set and specialized software like Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop. Now, with tools like Midjourney, DALL-E, and Canva's AI features, that's changing. Anyone can now type a simple text prompt, like a minimalist logo for a coffee shop in an Art Deco style, and get dozens of high-quality visual options in seconds. These tools can generate illustrations, create entire brand kits, and design website layouts. This is having a huge impact on the freelance market and on entry-level roles that were focused on producing this kind of high-volume, lower-complexity design work. This doesn't mean design is dead, not at all. But it raises the bar significantly. The value is shifting to high-level brand strategy, creative direction, unique artistic vision, and the ability to skillfully guide and refine AI outputs into a cohesive and compelling final product. So there you have it, the top 10 degrees feeling the heat from AI. Now, it's really important to put this all in perspective. This isn't a list of useless degrees, far from it. In almost every case, we're not talking about full replacement, but about transformation. AI is excellent at handling repetitive, data-driven tasks, but it still lacks true understanding, common sense, and emotional intelligence. The human element, things like creativity, critical thinking, strategic oversight, and ethical judgment, becomes more valuable than ever. An AI can generate 1,000 logo designs, but it takes a human to understand a client's soul and build a brand strategy. The key takeaway here isn't to abandon these fields, but to go into them with your eyes open and a strategy for the future. The new baseline for succeeding in any of these areas is going to involve working with AI, not competing against it. This means that upskilling is no longer optional, it's essential. Developing a strong foundation in AI literacy, understanding the basics of data science, and honing your uniquely human soft skills, communication, collaboration, leadership, is what will set you apart and make you resilient in this new job market. You have to become the person who directs the tool, not the person whose tasks are replaced by it. Ultimately, this is one of the biggest technological shifts of our lifetime, and the conversation is still evolving. We're all figuring this out together. So I'm curious to hear what you think. Which degrees or jobs do you think are the most at risk? Or, on the flip side, which fields do you think are the most future-proof and resilient against this AI wave? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. It's always interesting to see the different perspectives on this. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.